Hey guys, it's Lisa Robbin Young here, and I'm editing some video that I'm going to put on the Direct Sales Classroom website as part of this 90-day challenge. For those of you who only follow one of my infinite ways of reaching out to people, I actually have a couple of different websites that I'm running right now. Direct Sales Classroom is and has been for the last 4 years my primary source of online income. And I also have a couple of other websites, including Business Action Hero, where you're watching this now. And in the process of making these shifts in my business, it's becoming very clear that some things have to go. And I just finished shooting a video and have started editing it here to explain to my direct sales audience what's going on, because one of the things that I have had to do in order to make room for this new direction that I'm going in is let some projects go. I've got several products in the store over at Direct Sales Classroom that I just don't have the bandwidth to support anymore. And this is always hard for me because it's something you put out into the world and it's your baby. And people talk about, well, you create an info product and you never have to worry about it again. You set it and you forget it. And that's true, but it's not true, because statistically speaking, my track record in my own business and what I've seen in a lot of other people's online businesses, because I'm fortunate enough to get behind the scenes, I work behind the scenes for a lot of people. What I've found is the bulk of their sales happen for a given info product during a launch or during a relaunch or during a special sale. So if that product is sitting in their online store, yeah, they can set it and forget it, but they're not generating much revenue on it unless they're sending out an email blast or they're telling people about it, or they've got some kind of promotional rotation going on where that product keeps coming up in people's minds. Direct Marketing Association, I believe that was the company. There was a research study that was done a while ago where they asked their clients, what was it that caused you to click on the email and take action on what was in the link? And the number one response was, because that was something I needed right then when it came on my radar. So that tells me two things. One, if we're not actively putting those things out in front of our clients, we're not going to generate responses from them. And two, we're training people to wait for that thing to come in their inbox and they can go, okay, I need it now, let's go make it happen. If that's the case, then there are things in my business that I'm not actively promoting regularly because I've got other things going on that I want to share. Why am I leaving that content sitting there, languishing, when I know it's good, I know it's solid, I know it's helpful, and I just don't have the bandwidth to be able to promote it to the list? So what I'm doing is pulling those products off the market. They'll no longer be available in the formats that they're being offered, and may not be available at all in the iteration that they are. What I mean by that is, last month we took Home Party Solution, the ebook, completely off the shelves. They had until the end of the month to order that, and then it was gone, no longer available as an independent product. You can still get it right now if you purchase like the entire $300 package, but even that package is going to be going away because I'm not going to support production of the book anymore either. And we'll talk more about what that's going to happen and how that's going to turn out as we go forward in this 90-day challenge. You guys will get to see, the bones and the guts and all of that stuff as we go along. But for me, right now, we're getting rid of a product that I did back in 2006 called Direct Sales Jumpstart. And this was a program that I did with another coach and trainer who right now isn't active in the business. And my brain was like, well, why would I help promote her stuff when I know she's not even active anymore? She's not coaching regularly. She doesn't have a website anymore. And for me, I want to be able to, rising tide lifts all ships. I want to be able to help support and promote the people that I'm working with. She's not available anymore. The content's great. The product is wonderful, but it sits there unless I'm actively promoting it. So I'm going to pull it off the shelves, and it's not going to be available anymore in any format. But the pieces of that content that are mine, I'm going to reuse in other ways. And I'm one of those people who, when I repurpose content, I want people to know I've repurposed it. I don't want you to buy something that you already bought 4 years ago in a different package with a new price tag on it. And I've been victim to people who've done that before, and I find that it's grossly out of integrity, and it really bothers me. So I don't want to be that person. when I bring something back to market in a repurposed format, unless it's grossly different, I mean like dramatically different, I'm telling people, if you already have XYZ product, this is probably going to be familiar. Or if you already have this particular product, you don't need to buy this because it's a lot of the same material. You know, I can also say, you know, I've taken these elements from this old product, but then I've also added all of this new stuff. So it's up to you whether or not you want to buy it. I think that's a fair thing to do to somebody. Again, because for me, the work that I'm putting out into the world is designed to serve people. And I wouldn't want to be the person going, really? This is the same product that you offered 3 years ago? You didn't change it? And you just changed the price on it and gave it a new name? Really? And believe me, I know gurus who have done this. They've taken an entire 12-month training course that they sold at $500 or $600 a month to their clients, put a new label on the front, put it in a nice little binder, gave it a new name, and sold it to the same people for the same price. And then when someone said, hey, I want my money back, they gave them a hassle about it. They already had all the same content, it just didn't have the pretty binder. I can't do that to people. It bothers me. I wouldn't want to take someone's money that way. So while this stuff is going away, it's really going away. And I guess I'm kind of harping on that, and I don't mean to preach to the choir, but when you're making changes in your business, and when you're taking things away from people, you have to make sure when you talk about scarcity, particularly in the online world, that you're being transparent and legitimate. Because people can see through well, there's only 7 seats available with a line slashed through it, and there's only 3 seats available, and you haven't sold a single seat. And they know that. It's like they can sniff it out. So why lie in the first place? Really, why lie in the first place? Just be honest and say, look, we got 7 seats, and if those 7 seats don't sell, we've got 7 seats. And be authentic with people, because here's the thing that I've learned. In the 5 years that I've been hanging around the internet world, I've seen a lot of stuff that comes back to bite people in the butt. You know, they talk about this thing that they're going to do in the world, and it doesn't go according to plan, and word gets out. Somebody on the inside tells somebody else, and eventually everybody knows you're blowing smoke. So that's another reason why I wanted to do this kind of publicly, so that you could see that sometimes it's not pretty, and sometimes things don't sell. And that's the reality of business. And only in the internet marketing world does this become some kind of big, oh my gosh, we can't tell the world kind of a secret. Because when you look at big companies like Coca-Cola, when they release new Coke, it's very public. And when it crashes and burns, it crashes and burns. When Netflix decides it wants to do something like Quickster, and people are like, oh, no, you didn't. Well, it crashes and burns. It crashed and burned before it even got out of the gate. And it crashed and burned very publicly. And somehow, in the internet world, we've created this veil, this illusion of, oh, you can't tell people when you're not being successful. And then other people try to model what they see you doing, and they think it's successful, and then they do it, and it totally burns. And what they don't know is this program that you created, that you're marketing at $10 a month forever or whatever, is a loss leader for you. You don't make any money on it. It's actually costing you money, but you've got other things on the back end that you can sell people that are in that program. Well, somebody else who puts together a $10 a month program modeling your behavior and what you've done, because they don't know all the details, and they go bankrupt thinking, oh, I just did what so-and-so did and it didn't work for me. Now, the guru can say, well, you know, that's your fault because you weren't in my high-level coaching program, so you didn't get all the insider secrets. But at the same time, you're doing a disservice to people to pretend that this is a profitable vehicle for you. Why not just say, this is a loss leader? It's one of the tools that I use in my business, and I use back-end products to pad the cushion. There's nothing wrong with saying that, because companies do loss leaders all the time. Victoria's Secret gives away underwear all the time to get people in the store. You can do a loss leader, but be honest about it. Don't trick people into getting into your umpty-gajillion-dollar high-level coaching program where there's no coaching involved at all. It's mentoring. Do my product. Okay, I'm going to get off on a completely different topic about the difference between mentoring and coaching. I need to stop because I'm going to get angry. Okay. But the point of this video is to explain to you kind of what's going on behind the scenes. Obviously, if I'm spending 90 days focused on building something new, I've still got to generate revenue. So I'm taking strategic products off the shelves that are not coming back to generate income right now and give people something that they need. I mean, we slashed the price on Jumpstart from, it's like a $300 course, and we slashed it to like $50, $47, I don't know, something like that. Because I want it gone. I want to not have to worry about it anymore. I don't want that piece of my energy being tied up. And this is a great way to be able to help that market generate some income for me and be able to do some of the things that I want to do. The other side of that coin is you see a lot of internet marketers going, you've got 7 days to make a decision and then it's gone forever. And I'm not doing that. I'm giving them until the end of the month. And I did the same thing last month. They had until the end of September to get that ebook. This month they have until the end of October to get their hands on that training package. And I'm doing that because I feel it's more honorable. Because if you're growing a real business, you have a budget for things like training. You have a budget for things like learning and development. And to play into that scarcity, get it now before it's gone mentality, you know, they're unlimited copies. It's an electronic download, okay? To say, well, you know, there's only 500 copies available would be inauthentic. It would be a lie. To say you've got until the end of the month, it gives you time to plan. Is this something I can really get before the end of the month? You know, that gives them 30 days to figure out how they're going to work their budget to make it work for them. And $47 for a lot of markets isn't a big deal. But in the direct selling market, that's a huge investment for someone who's just starting in a business who probably just plunked down every penny they had to get their starter kit to begin with. And this program is designed for, you know, people who are new in business or restarting their business. They don't have a lot of scratch to go around anyways. And I wanted to honor that, and I wanted to be honest with them. It also gives me the opportunity to continue to place that reminder in front of them at 3 or 4 times this month and say, hey, without it being push, because when you've only got 2 weeks, or God forbid, 7 days to make a decision that requires a financial investment, people get frantic and they just buy something and then they're like, oh my God, what did I spend this money on? And they can't get their money back. And this is a non-refundable purchase because it's an electronic download and it's going away. It's not coming back. So I want people to make intelligent decisions. And there are people out there who are like, oh, you're just stupid. You should just give them a 7-day window and that's it. And that's not how I roll, because that's not what I want in my own business. That's not how I want my trainers and my mentors to treat me. I want them to respect the fact that I have a budget for what I want to do in my business. And I'm not going to try and rob Peter to pay Paul because I'm growing a real business. I'm not going to use emotional scarcity tactics to freak people into spending money with me. That stuff is old school. That stuff has to be removed from the paradigm shift that we're seeing in conscious business development. And that's really where I feel like I'm going. So I have to do that. I have to honor that. I have to stay in alignment with that perspective. So that's what I'm doing. And you're going to see more of that over the next couple of months as we get through these 90 days. You're going to see other products going away. Not just from Direct Sales Classroom even. I mean, I'm doing that in a lot of different ways, and you're going to get to see how all of this stuff shakes out over time. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to give you numbers, specific numbers on how products sold or didn't sell. I'd love your comments and feedback in the comments below if that's something that interests you. My plan is to be completely transparent throughout this whole process because I want people to realize what really goes on. You know, we get dollar signs in our eyes about building a successful online business and, you know, it's a slot machine, pull the arm, set it and forget it kind of stuff. And that's true to a point, but there's still effort that has to be put into the business. There's still work that has to be done. You still have to be in front of people and you still have to be talking about the things that you're doing because that's how we've trained people to respond. People don't click buy until we say, here's something new, click buy, because we've trained them that way. So I want to start untraining and retraining in a different way. I want to work with people who are serious about building a successful business. I want to work with people who are brilliantly gifted and maybe the best kept secret in their industry, and they don't really know how to get that word out about who they are and what they're doing in the world, and let them see that there's a right way to build a real business that honors them, honors their client, honors their industry. It brings honor to everybody in the process. So that's what I'm up to this week. I did get the 90 days all fleshed out. I just haven't shown it to you yet. That's going to be kind of in the next couple of videos that I'm shooting so that you can kind of see where I've been and where I'm going. But I wanted to get this one out today because I thought it was really important to kind of see where the brain is at and why we choose to do, from a business perspective, some of the things that we do in the online world that people don't talk about. So watch for more videos in the next few days.